You know, they think that I just come in there and look for knockoffs, and that's not the case. You know, I'm actually a sharp, smart fighter.
So, well, I'm here. Who want to fight with me? Who?
I really don't care who's in front of me. I don't feel like no fighter can beat me.
My goal is to demolish everybody, to be honest. Everybody that's in my way. The pinnacle to any weight division is to have all the belts, all of the titles.
Welcome to Bodywork. It feels so good to be back. Back one more again. Yes, I am. Man, I love talking this boxing talk, man. I hope everybody had a good week, man. My week was pretty. Gigantic steps. I think in another month I'll be done not drink for a year. You know, outside of when like a week or two later when we went to Myrtle Beach. But that drinking all day, every day and all, it's been a year since I really was like, it's been a year. I'm about to be, come November. I know it's already been a year since I stopped. August was the year when been a year since I was smoking that chronic. I think November. And since I stopped smoking black and mild yet, but I'm approaching it. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of the things that we see as vices or things that, you know, we might not see as being controlled. You know, when the weather changed, like this is my favorite time of year. I love like when it started getting up into fall. I love fall. You know what I'm saying? It's like my favorite time of the year. Always had the crazy hoodie. And I was flirting with going with somebody else, but I'm a creature of habit and I'm so used to it. So I was flirting with going with someone else. I looked at the they'll cut me out every 15 seconds. You know what I'm saying? We can't have that. And I'm a perfectionist, man. I've been I've been to scrap the whole show if it ain't right. But I just been reflecting on seasons, man. It's like another season, just like I was a year. Where it's at and like doing the same, like, because we all are creatures of habit, right? Period of time without no hiccups, it was start. I was looking like, man, with these government shutdowns, is it going to be a trickle down effect to everything? Because that's how economics work. But I count it all joy, man, that ain't smooth, man. I'm just seeking a lot of positivity, man. Business is getting, the bank is improving. This life is good, man, on my end. So I say all that because when I get online, man, I talk this walk away from this shit and I'll be all right. Certain things, aggressive about certain things. That's just my nature, man. Boxing is a contact sport, and so is this YouTube shit. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm one of them ones where I could take it, I could dish it. You know what I'm saying? Unlike a lot of people, but I'm here, man. I'm here to stay. There's nothing y'all can do about it, man. I might take my little hiatus, just take my little break, but Bodywork ain't going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? The kind of been sitting. Anyways, man, let me get down to this boxing talk, man. Let me stop bullshitting, man. I was just reflecting. You know what I'm saying? I'm going in and out. Is it going in and out? It's going in and out for real? It's good. Oh my goodness. Am I good, Cookie Monster? Okay. Man, see what I told y'all, man? Anyways, let me get down to business, man. I don't know, man. They must see. I guess certain people are paid for, man. Whenever you get you put certain people's names in the thumbnails and the titles and you start doing content, it's real strange how things be falling apart, man. But let me get down to business. All right. Salute Aaron Jones. Let's get down to this housekeeping real quick. All right. The first one is Brian Norman Sr. has ruled out Harvey Dark as a ref. You know, and I was very, very proud that he did that, man, because you don't realize how fast time goes by, but it's been a good 3 months. It's been a good 3 months since I put what video was it? The Ice Age. I had the Ice Age thumbnail. Well, the video about Brian Norman versus Devin Haney, and I went over it, and I basically was saying that the Haneys didn't want it. You know what I'm saying? It was before I put this one out, but I was saying that the Haneys didn't want it. And I was basically saying it was forced into it. And as the story developed, I was doing like a little piece on it every week in the build-up. But it's been 3 months since I basically said Devin and them was backed in the corner and they didn't want any. You know, and Senior has been doing his thing, man. Senior has been promoting this fight. He's been standing up for his son. He's been checking all the haters. He's been coming with nothing but facts. And if Brian Norman pulled this off, oh my goodness. If Brian Norman, if Junior pulled this off the way in emphatic fashion, if it's anything similar to like what Tank did to Leo Santa Cruz or what Brian Norman just did with how he downed that shot of Jen real quick, man, Senior gonna look like they're gonna get knockout of the year. You will have to give. Let me think about this. Other than it will be a very close run because this is a results-driven business, right? Trainer of the year, it would be well, you would have to. Bud and them Bomac will probably win it by default, but if Brian Norman, I'm gonna put it like this: if Brian Norman was to spark the shit out of Devin, like he go in there and turn off the lights and light a candle, then him and Bomac will be neck and neck. But because of their accomplishment, the undisputed, and Bud jumping up the way he did after Jamel doing what, you know what I'm saying? No red tape around it, no controversy around it. It was a UD, you know. Bomac and them would probably get trainer of the year, but Brian, they would definitely be a close runner up. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's a tall feat, but I was saying the setup because, you know, them guys is Muslim and they practice Islam, and you know, Turkey say that those is his guys, and you know, Bill got to give the gab. He probably put some of that game on Turkey and got him all wrapped up, but Turkey ain't dumb as he look, you know, because he was able to actually put Devin in this predicament. You know what I'm saying? It's you. If you would have asked me a year ago, even before that, if you would have asked me, if I would have never thought Devin would have took on a challenge like this. You know what I'm saying? It came a lot sooner than they expected. They got to take it. I think Norman, you know, he do be engaging with the fans and talking to everybody a lot. But I think he's doing a wonderful job promoting this fight. He's doing a wonderful job putting everything out there on the line. You know what I'm saying? He's speaking like a real trainer. You got to think he put on the glove before. So even though Bill has gotten Devin to heights that many won't ever reach, especially with the talent that Devin has, I believe that Senior is like 100 times better. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing more than 100. But I think he's 100% better, man. He's 100% better because one, he has the experience of actually putting on the gloves. Two, he's not raising a Frankenstein. You know, Mr. Gary Russell Jr., one of the best to ever lace him up. A guy who was supposed to tangle with Devin at a point in time. He basically said he called them Frankenstein fighters. These fighters who go over here and get this tutelage and go over there and get that tutelage is like a mixed bag of parts. It's like you put a little bit here and a little bit there and it ain't no continuity. Well, Senior and them ain't got to deal with that. It's Pops. And I think he learned to let go a little bit. Because it's not like you see them together and they all bragging and all that together. I think he has his space to go out and promote, but then Junior is out in front of the camera doing his interviews, handling himself. He got his little flavor, you know. He's smart. You can tell he's intelligent. He don't get trapped by questions. He got a personality. You know, he's a likable guy. Like, it ain't hard for him to talk. He don't be stuttering and shit. He don't sound like he punch drunk. He don't sound like he too eager. He just be relaxed and chilling, man. Like as far as press, handling the media and all that, he's better than like 80% of these cats. I mean, Keyshawn had a great handle on it, but then, you know, I mean, he had a good handle. I would say he had a good handle on it, like above average. Keyshawn definitely had the personality where a camera in his face and saying what he want and, you know, and playing that role. He was pretty good at it too. You know, up until he crashed out. But Senior is, you know, he was, you know, I know it was, in part it was a joke, but in a lot, I think it was serious. I'm glad he don't got Harvey Doc, because had that been a different ref and not Harvey Doc, what would we be talking about? A stoppage? You know what I'm saying? Somebody throwing in the towel, like somebody like really live. It would have been a stoppage, like the ref consoling him. You remember when El Rayo got, you know, he got pieced up by De La Santos, and that ref came in and consoled him. He gave him a hug. He said, "No, I just couldn't let you." Yeah, that's what we'd have been looking at. If it wasn't old Uncle Harvey Doc, man, that would have been a stoppage, man. By a C-class fighter, according to Devin, by a C-class fighter, that would have been a stoppage. So that's the first thing. The second thing, Malik Scott cites jealousy. That's the reason why boxers be hating on Tank. I couldn't have said it better, man. Yeah, that guy Radio Raheem. And I guess I'm kind of starting to appreciate Radio Raheem a little bit more. It's still a little funky twist to some of the things, you know, but I'm kind of seeing how he do things and, you know, his approach to it. So I'm kind of understanding. I do like the level of professionalism he has, but even in this instance, right? This is what I was asking about. Remember the other day when I did that live and I said, how much of the media are we to blame for how the state of boxing is, right? Remember when I asked that question? I said, because, you know, our greats don't get portrayed a certain way. If anybody else was doing anything else, right? If, let's just say, in your field, in your line of work, right now, and as broad as your line of work is, like, if aside from Canelo and the paycheck that he was getting, even though I don't like to do this, I don't like to count the numbers, aside from what Canelo was getting, if you was like the next highest paid guy in the genre that you in your line of work, I'm talking about out of everybody doing what you're doing in your field, if you were like number 2 as far as getting paid in your line of work, wouldn't you give respect? Right? Like, if it's still in the line of work of what you're doing it, but you're number 2 as far as the amount of bread you actually receive per fight this year, let's just say this year you was number 2. And that's just with a little setback and all that. But you could have been damn near number one or tied for number one, or you know what I'm saying? Like depending on what's going on, you could be number one. You and somebody else could be going back and forth for that number one spot. But you're a solid number two as far as the bread you make. Wouldn't you get a lot of wouldn't everybody respect you? Wouldn't that demand a certain level of respect? It wouldn't. I'm just asking. But when I was listening to Radio Raheem and Malik Scott, go back and check it. It's on Seconds Out. I'm not gonna play it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna play it, especially because I'm getting ready to be just a hair critical of radio. And trust me, I was never as far as because I didn't understand the move of Wilder hiring Malik Scott. I was one of the ones that was saying hot seat Malik like way before he actually got, you know what I'm saying, cut out of the picture, because I was like, it didn't make no sense. Then I heard how Wilder was talking and how he was philosophizing and looking at life, and he was getting all like Wilder was already a spiritual guy, but it was just too much. It was just too much, man. Their relationship was almost like David and Jonathan. You know what I'm saying? If you know anything, that relationship that David and Jonathan had, man, if you do your studies, boy, that relationship was a little weird. You know what I'm saying? It was a little weird. So I was never like the biggest Malik Scott fan, but I do appreciate the mind that he had. You know what I'm saying? You can tell he's a deep thinker. He can talk that talk. He got this guy Ezra, I think his name is Ezra Taylor or something like that. He's saying he the next big thing. He fight this weekend. So go back and check that interview out. You know what I'm saying? He got a short one, then he got a long one. You know, but check those out. Judge for yourself. The only thing I know is Malik Scott started off by saying that the reason why Tank get all this backlash and all this hate is because other boxers are jealous of him. And I couldn't agree more. And this is where I say, you know, is the media responsible for the kind of coverage that the sport get, or the attention that the sport get? Or shall I say, what I heard earlier this week, somebody said it was that Tim Bradley, he said something like boxing is a business disguised as a sport. And as much as some of us want to look at it as a sport, it's people that cover the media and people who do interviews that just won't let us. They got to remind you of a business. Why? Because he who controls the printed page controls the thinking of this age. He who controls the printed page controls the thinking of this age. It's always been a form of conquering and control. You can control the media, who gets the interview, what outlets can put it out, what they can say, who gets opportunities to be able to, you know what I'm saying? That's the thing. And what radio did was he tried to misconstrue it. He's like, what do you mean? You trying to say Tank is jealous of Jake Paul and the money he's getting? I'm like, how did you interpret that as that, brother? You know exactly what Malik Scott has said, brother. But that's just the business of boxing, not the sport. But I guarantee you, if you was like number 2 in your sport, and well, number 2 in your genre, whatever it is you do, whether it's trucking, whether you're an electrician, whether you a chef, if you was number 2 out of everybody in your field, on a per fight basis, you would get respect. You would get way more respect, man. People will have way more respect, man, and how they come at you and the things that they say and all of that. I'm pretty sure of it. You can kind of try to like gaslight me, But I'm pretty much convinced, man. But check that interview out, man. I think it's good, and coming from Malik, man, I couldn't agree more, man. And I look forward to seeing like if this philosophy and the kind of person that Malik, if that translate over to this new guy, because if it do, he do be talking some good stuff, man. Philosophically and all that, I kind of can believe in it. I just think that he was too deep for Wilder. It was too late in the game for Wilder. Wilder was kind of too set in his ways, you know what I'm saying, to really embrace a lot of the things that Malik was doing. And even though I probably saw it as a bad choice right from the jump, eventually Wilder saw what was going on and was like, yeah, it ain't gonna work. But Malik, one of the least likely people in this era where everybody's scared to say what it is, he said it. So salute to him. The last thing is pet owners are to pets as to what content creators are to these boxers. What do you mean, Mike? If you listen, I'm gonna tell you right. Listen, I've been watching, and let me see something. Something ain't right. But I've been watching, right? And I got this thing that I've been doing, right? And I've been paying attention to content creators and how they are, right? And the fan and the boxer that they actually support, man. I've drawn a lot of correlations, man. This is real funny. It's real deep, man. It's like, you know how I think it was on that movie Pets, that cartoon movie Pets, where they were basically showing all of the they were showing the dog and they were showing the owners, and the poodle was tall and slender with his nose up in the air, and then it looked up and the owner was tall and slender with his nose up in the air and was walking, and then you had the short, you know what I'm saying, solid, heavy set, and then they was with the bulldog that was ruling and short and heavy with the bow legs, and it was like people were mirroring on that cartoon movie. They was mirroring their pets. I'm finding that to be the case in the space that we in as far as this content creation, man. I'm starting to see that a lot of these people, man, especially like some of the most audacious people online, they definitely mirror their favorite boxers, man. It's like the funniest thing in the world, man. Who I want to start with? I'll start with an easy one. Let's start with I start with a layup, an easy one. Like I noticed that Clarissa, like one of the content creators, right? That's like a diehard Clarissa Shields fans, right? Clarissa, when you think about Clarissa, right? She always got this thing like the whole world's against her, and she promote leading with like victimhood, like somebody always done or said something to her or did something, so they lead with victimhood. Like they always ask you a question like, I just don't know why, and why we always being done so bad, and why we always like. That's how Clarissa leads, right? She used a lot of things like colorism, and I'm like, why you lead with colorism and racism? It's like, no, that should be. It's like one of them things where if you just gotta pull it out, like if it just get to the point to where somebody just beating you over the head, then you pull that out, but like don't lead with it. Especially when like people can easily draw the parallels, because like anybody that's high yellow, you got a problem with. That's what I was looking at. I'm like, what is the mystery, y'all? Why do y'all act like this when Layla came on and said what she was saying? Why was everybody acting like, oh, do you believe that? Or can you believe in like really being trivial about what Clarissa's problem was? You can look at who all the people she had problems with. I was like, Eureka. What is Keith Thurman? He a light bright, ain't he? Tank, what is Tank? He a light bright, ain't he? What is Layla? She's pretty much a light bright, ain't she? What is Alicia Baumgartner? She's a light bright, ain't she? Like, so the writings on the wall, like the people that you have the biggest problems with are light brights. That's not a problem with them. That's a problem with you. always being a victim. Very nice at what you do. If people were able to just focus on your talents and what you do, a lot of people would appreciate. Salute, AC.
You can hear me? Yeah. Salute, bro. Yeah, we had to call a cable company, man. It was just crazy.
Oh.
Yeah. So keep cooking, bro. I'm here.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Let me so I was listening to somebody, and over time I've heard this one person that's like a particular like a big Clarissa, and I'm like, man, like she embody a lot of the things that's wrong. That's why I believe certain creators, they resonate with certain fighters, right? And I tried myself one time to let bygone be bygone with Clarissa, and I did a piece on her, and it was mainly when she had won over there when she was doing her MMA thing, and that girl, Clarissa wouldn't tap, and that girl almost like she had her arm in a bad way, and I was just like, man, I was almost on the verge. I was saying, man, Clarissa, you gonna have to tap, man, because you shouldn't even be doing this shit. Them arms are made for boxing, not MMA. And she wound up getting through it, and in that time, I saw that her power actually increased, because she was, it's kind of hard to jump into that sport and get real good on the ground and pound, or get real good in the grappling. Of course, we knew she was gonna have the ups when it came down to striking, but when it came down to grappling, that's where she was a liability. But she was piecing the girl up, and I saw that her power was getting better over there. And so I was really like, man, I'm gonna try to let bygone be bygones. I'm gonna look past her attitude and her ability to be liked, and I'm gonna try to like at least uplift her, because I saw that certain people can do things so egregious and have these personality things that have come out to where it's like you lose people, to where even when you try to do good or try to do well, all they can see is the egregious thing that you've done. And I think that's where she tipped the scales that way a long time ago, especially where she's always like a one-upper. So I noticed that people that's always like a one-upper, like if you always like a one-upper, you ever work with somebody who always got to be like one up on you? Like if you went and you stayed at the Waldorf or Astoria and you got one of the nicest room there for the weekend, then they went to Paris and had the whole wing of the hotel for like 3 weeks. It's like they always gotta one up you. It's like that kind of thing. I look at people like one of the hugest Devin Haney fans I know. And the things that he do online and the extent he is to go, like for one, he do a lot of copycatting. A whole lot of copycat, right? I actually caught the cat. Copycat. Right? Basically stealing thumbnails, stealing talking points. And now I'm gonna tell this, I'm gonna put this out here for a lot of these, I'm gonna put that out. His twin, salute. I'm gonna put this out here for a lot of these content, for a lot of content creators, right? It's this thing, right? Because people be thinking they slick. This is what they think they can do. Hold on. This is what they think they can do, y'all. They believe that they can actually create, like if you come out, let's say you come out with a thumbnail, right? You do a thumbnail and they like it. In order to make it seem as though you copy them, what they'll do is, because you can always go back and change the thumbnails on your videos. So I remember I came out with one on October the 5th. I came out with this thumbnail. This person came out, I was looking, because I was like, man, this shit is starting to happen too often to where the shit you doing look too much like mine. So I went back and I looked and I saw that damn near the same title, Except for I had Nello, they had Canelo, and then I had 2 other words on there, and they had the same word on there, right? They went back and on September to something like September the 13th or something like that, they went back and changed the thumbnail to almost damn near identical to the one I had. But I'm gonna tell you this: how you catch people. If you think that somebody's doing that, this is how you catch them. When you go and you change your thumbnail, that's just on the outside. What's going to happen is they're not going to be able to. You can go back on there and make it seem like somebody's copying you, but the truth is going to be this: when you go back to that video and you see that thumbnail that look like yours, go inside of the video, look at the actual inside of the video, click on it, look at the video itself. That thumbnail, the new one, won't be there. What they originally had will be there, because most people, when they do their videos, it don't just be plain. They use the thumbnail on the outside and on the inside, i.e. the thumbnail that I got right now. And this is going to help y'all young. This is going to help the young creators, man, because it's people that's out here that they doing the Jay-Z thing, man. They just sit around, they copy, you know what I'm saying? They copy. But this is what you do. Like, look at this. You see this? So if this was like on September the 26th, I did this one. This was the help one, right? So this is how I know I talked about this subject on the help one on September 26th. Today, I'm doing the help part 2. This is now on the inside of my live. So the same thing you see when you was on the outside, when you click on this link, you see that on the outside. Now it's on the inside. If somebody go back and change it, they can take the concepts, but on the inside of your video, that thumbnail won't be there. That's how you know they copying. But the only reason why I bring up somebody like Devin Haney is because this guy in particular, this knee pad wearing, throat coat spraying, like tonsil jewelry displaying pansy, who like to put people in drag. See, he just like the Haneys, whereas when it come down to like that Victor Conte stuff, it's always relying on the burden of proof. So it's like they're going to push the envelope and they're going to do things like up until the limit to where you got to catch them. You got to catch them red-handed, right? And see, they be thinking since they haven't got caught yet and ain't nobody spilled their beans yet, that they're not going to get caught. But guess what? The day when they do get caught, the day when somebody do a full, like when somebody really like put their ass in the ground for real, it's all gonna come crashing down. See, the things that Devin do, like when he mimics like Tank and stuff like that, with like getting the leg tattoo, like dressing like him, like wanting to do everything just like him, like wanting to being this copycat over time, and then saying, "Oh man, I don't do that." Well, everybody's doing it. Like, yeah. That's how they are. That's how this one guy is. The braggadociousness. The fact that right now, right, they get so desperate to where they're just doing anything, like putting men up in drag and stuff like that. You got to look at where Devin is at right now. He's pretty much at an impasse to where he didn't want to take this fight. So right now they're doing things because secretly this is what was going on. They was going this route. That's why you got to ask yourself, and I was asking myself earlier, I was like, man, what happened to all these Keyshawn Davis fans? Where are they? All these Keyshawn Davis fans were all these people that was waiting to jump from Devin Haney over there to either Shakur or Keyshawn. So what happened? You started seeing more and more people do things about Keyshawn. And I'm not saying Keyshawn didn't have the potential, didn't have the talent, didn't have a core fan base. It might not have been that big, but he did have a core fan base, especially being from Norfolk. He had those people like myself that was from the East Coast that was going to pull for him, you know what I'm saying, to a certain extent. Not an only fan, but somebody saying, hey, man, this guy got some talent. If he keep it up, develop, you see him against these styles and all that, and he keep going the way he going, he definitely got potential to be one of them guys. Now, it happened kind of prematurely, but I saw that a lot of the guys that after that Ryan debacle, a lot of the guys that was all on DHP's jockstrap started vying for a place with Keyshawn in there. Well, when Keyshawn crashed out, guess what happened? They kind of defaulted to Shakur. To where the same dude that used to talk about how Shakur was, right? And how like we used to shit on him because he came out and said he was like, you know, his father was Puerto Rican, or he was trying to embrace his Puerto Ricanness or whatever. The same dude that flamed him back then, the same dude who used to put him in drag. And I'm like, what did Keyshawn do? I mean, what did Shakur do? I mean, all of this changed because he came out and announced that he might be fighting Teofimo Lopez, which is like a fart in the wind. You can smell it, but the time is fleeting. Mirroring something that their guy would do. Over embellishing about their capabilities and what they're able to do. You know what I'm saying? Saying that they have these influences, like getting all like stirring people up, saying some of the most outrageous stuff. Like when you think about some of the outrageous things Bill have said, this guy tends to say some of the most outrageous things, and you don't know whether Bill rubbed off on him or he rubbing off on Bill, or they rubbing off on each other. Eureka. Who else? Shakur Stevenson fans. Man, well, let me qualify this. When I say fans, like in this manner, I'm talking about only fans, and I'm talking about more so like these content creators, right? Because these are the people I was trying to say, okay, well, where are these influencers? Where are these people that have all these people thinking about boxing and molding and pricking these people's minds and having them thinking a certain kind of way? Like, what are they on? So when I think about the Shakur fans, and I think these guys, sadly enough, they're trading places. I never would have thought it, man. I never would have thought it. I never would have thought that I never would have thought ever since I known these two that I would have more respect for Devin at this point in time than I do for Shakur. That's crazy. Especially if you've been over here on this channel. I never would have thought that would happen. But because Devin might not have been by choice, but because he's getting ready to fight Brian Norman, somebody that that's all I wanted him to do. That's all we all want all of these guys to do, to fight the guys that we want them to fight. That guy Radio Raheem had touched on that. He was basically saying, well, no, Malik Scott, he basically touched on that. He basically said, yeah, some of it is you like a fighter, you know what I'm saying, and you just tired of seeing them fight guys that don't deserve to be in the ring with them, and you just want to see them fight guys that you think have a shot because you just want to see them do what they do against the guys that you think could give them some wreck. That's all it was. That's how most people are. You know what I'm saying? So you'll have people that be acting like they really not Tank fans, and they really closeted Tank fans. They just disappointed or upset that he won't fight the guys that they want him to fight. But we all do that with all of these fighters, right? But when I think about the Shakur fans, these guys, this is another thumbnail to the pansy bit, right? You see that Kermit in the background with that rain? He think I don't know it, but wait till he get his ass busted. You know what I'm saying? It's coming. It's coming. But when I think about these guys, right? These guys, they flip-flop, right? Now they good, they talented, they're defensive, right? They can hold down an argument, very defensive in their argument. They can protect all day, they can shield, put up armor, present all of these things. Straw man, how you thinking? You know what I'm saying? All of that. But the offense is shitty. The points they make can't stand them. They couldn't bust a grape. No offense, all defense, always defensive. Like you can't critique them, you can't say nothing about them without them crying and whining. Acting like the whole world against them and saying that you just hating on them, right? They'll spaz out on you. They'll curse you out one day, right? And then come back and be like, man, my bad, I apologize. Remember how Shakur did that with his fans? Told his fans F you and I'm foreign Shakur and all this other stuff, and F the fans, and then the UK fans are better. Yeah, there's content creators out here. You can tell why they resonate and why they actually like Shakur so much. Why? Because he embodies the same thing that they embody and how they act and the thing that they do. So they can curse you out, They can be offended by everything that you like. Just like when Andre Ward, two people who rock with him, Andre Ward and Bud, was telling this man like, nah, you could have jabbed better, or you could have did this, right? And because you can't tell them nothing. That's the Shakur. You can't tell a Shakur fan nothing. You can't tell these guys nothing. You can't critique them. You can't have no kind of nothing. They want you got to be all hands on deck. You got to agree with everything they say. But they're going to get offended and they're going to lash out, and it's going to be a sign of disrespect to them. Why? Because they know everything. They better than everybody. Shakur always say, I don't believe nobody can beat me, and there's always some kind of excuse. And you see what I'm saying? Like, yeah, that's how they are. That man's daughter told him, man, he almost knocked you out. Right? And she sounds so cute when she said it, but he was like, nah, but it's like your daughter, like, bro, like your daughter said he almost knocked you out. Right? And he couldn't take it. Like, totally devoid of reality. Like, this how these Shakur fans are. Especially when it come down to the OnlyFans. They always big broing somebody. Right? Because they always big shit. Like, you know how Shakur always try to take, and he try to big bro Abdullah Mason, and he big bro to Keyshawn, and yeah, it's these content creators online who they always got to be the big bro. They always got to be like, yeah. They always got to be like almost like a bottleneck. Like, as if your success relies on going through them for them to validate you to be successful. When you've been successful, like doing all, like you started doing this shit before you even knew who they were. You started liking the sport before you even knew who they were. But they want to big bro you. They gotta co-sign you. Like, you notice how Shakur, they always need somebody around to validate them. Always got to keep people around to kind of validate them and say, yeah, that's my, oh, shout out to such. Oh, yeah, that's my, you know what I'm saying? Got to be a part of something. Always got to be a part of some large group. Because online, it was like the LDBC was one. There's a lot of people that, like, you got to belong into something or whatever, and always kind of got to be surrounded. Like, I call it the wolf pack mentality, where you can't stand on your own too. Anybody that have anything to do, you might have met them, you might have sparred, you might have talked to them, and then all of a sudden you go do something, they got to be responsible for your success. Yeah, they're going to naturally resonate with people like Shakur Stevenson. Naturally. And somebody always turned against them, or the reason why something, when they're the ones that actually initiate that, like even when you look at Shakur and Devin, even though I don't blame Shakur for actually recording Bill, because he was Bill's a sneaky guy. But when he was friends with Devin and all of a sudden they wasn't friends no more, when he was real cool with Tank and they wasn't friends no more, and because Tank and Richardson Hitchens, there's always videos of Tank and Richardson Hitchens and Adrian Broner, or Tank and Adrian Broner, or Tank and Richardson Hitchens. But Richardson Hitchens was also cool with Shakur, always cool with somebody, and then something happened, and for some reason they not cool no more. When they actually started or did whatever it was to actually cause the rift in the relationship. Threatening people. They'll be out here actually threatening people. People like that, they'll be out here online threatening people. The same way Shakur was out here threatening people. Like when he tried to threaten Cam and Mace. Yeah, people who do that, they will definitely resonate with people like Shakur Stevenson. Because they see a lot of themselves in these people. That's why they push and go so hard. Why they try to defend them and all that. The last one, somebody, let's say this one dude. It's this one dude who like boots. Always talking about boots. Got all the potential in the world, all the talent in the world. They just want you to do something. Do something in the sport. You got all the tools, the gift, the gab, the mouthpiece, all of that. You can talk that talk. They just want him to do something. They just want him to fight something. They just want him to leave his stain on the sport. Since they say he the second coming of Roy Jones, they just want him to do something. That's all. They just want him to fight somebody. That's his side. That's all they want him to do. Fight somebody that's a threat. Like, do something. Other than allow everybody to sing your glowing praises. Or for you to ride the coattails of some other people that's way bigger than you. AC.
Yes, sir.
I could go on for days, brother.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. Because the state of boxing media and just media in general is everybody's looking for, and there's to a certain degree there's nothing wrong with it, where you're looking for your lane and your audience and stuff like that. But if you're gonna go under the guise again of being a content creator, then that means you have to create content, you know. And if you're not out here creating content, then you're just a guy talking shit online, you know, under the disguise that, you know, you're creating content. So the way a lot of this shit goes, and the way these guys have their lifespan, you know, when you look at insects, you look at certain dog breeds, you know, you look at human life and things like that, animal and tree life, everything has its own lifespan. Even the biggest things like our star, they all have their own lifespan. With these content creators, when they get to that, when they see that it's coming to the end of their lifespan, to where they can't be creative no more because they've gone through their creative Rolodex, that's when the desperation starts to fall into place. Let me sneak on this channel and see what they're talking about, because I kind of, that was an interesting thumbnail. Okay, let me ear jockey for a minute. Oh wow, they got some nice talking points. So I'll revisit this, you know, later on tonight. You feel what I'm saying? And I'll start to take my cliff notes and, you know, do what I need to do for my early morning show. Because he doesn't have my following, but my morning following will be dedicated to this guy's work. And that's what the hell is happening. You know what I'm saying? And I'm seeing it just pretty much across the board when it just comes down to content creation in this era. It's a tiny pocket of people that are actually doing work, doing their best to be original. Yes, a story comes out, that story is going to be covered by everybody. You feel what I'm saying? But it's in how you're covering, your approach to covering, the vernacular that you're using to cover this same story. If it's very similar to somebody else's, coincidence could have a play, but there are certain tangibles that you look at that just completely remove all coincidence. Like, you literally watch my show because you don't talk like that. And now you got this new tone in how you talking. And we constantly joke about it when it comes down to Timothy Bradley.
Yeah.
Like, bro, why do you need to take on this new persona? This Durango Unchained, you know, Morgan Freeman. I'm telling you old Negro stories. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, Tim, that wasn't your personality. Before, when you used to do these like little videos, you would just be like, You say what you have to say. When you do your yeah type thing, you know, you was like yeah like a city boy. Like you screw your face up a little bit, put the meaner look. Now it's yeah, and you want to drag it out, and it's like, to a certain degree, we can call you out on who we perceive you're trying to be, but why don't you just be yourself? And that's the same thing to whereas fighters that we look at, fighters that we like, fighters that we say, okay, I don't recognize, because you got a new way of talking, you got this new attitude, you know what I'm saying? You done dyed your hair and all of this other stuff. It's like, I don't know this guy no more. And the shit you talking now just don't conform into who you really are. You're a square peg, bro. It's nothing wrong with being a square peg. But that don't mean you have to try to squeeze yourself in an octagon hole or the round hole or whatever hole you trying to squeeze yourself into. Stop being silly putty and just be you. You feel what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, the name fits itself. You squishy, soft, and malleable, like silly putty. You feel what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's just like, you know, that type of stuff just has to stop happening. Just completely overall. Just you got your targeted audience. Okay, there's a similarity between you, your favorite fighter, and your targeted audience. So fighters need it. Fighters need that. Fighters need those dedicated fan bases that, you know, above all, they see nothing wrong with them. You feel me? I'm a Terrence Crawford fan, and I know dudes that are in that fan base that I'm talking about. I'm a Devin Haney fan, and I can definitely tell you dudes that are in that category. Same thing with Shakur, same thing with Boots. You feel what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But it's some of these young fighters, these guys are like, I have no idea who you're talking about because I'm too busy, you know, got my throat coat and everything on for these guys or for my guy. You know what I'm saying? So we bring up fighters and we're looking at certain situations and saying, you know what? What if this guy fights this guy? And you brought up Malik Scott's interview. You was talking about the interview where he had with what the hell is that black dude's name?
Radio Raheem.
Yeah, Radio Raheem.
Yeah,
that was a solid interview. I mean, he helped Malik's feet to the fire with respectable type of questions.
Yeah,
you feel what I'm saying? And he was giving them pushback, like, yeah, I hear what you're saying, but was it a matter of Deontay Wilder just being trainable? And he's like, well, that's kind of why he's out there doing what he's doing right now. He's like, that's still my bro and everything. It just didn't work out for us with boxing. And I like the fact that he brought in, you know, his newest student. Yeah, as soon as he brought him up, I Googled the dude's name. You feel what I'm saying? Kind of like seeing, okay, so you're also a UK fighter. So let me ask myself this question. Eddie Hearn is trying to big up Ben Whitaker. Could we see an Ezra Taylor versus Ben Whitaker in sometime in the future? Or will Ezra Taylor be one of these guys that Ben Whitaker will always duck and avoid?
See, I looked him up last week. When he popped up, and I didn't do all of my research. I didn't even know if I saw some footage of him.
Yeah,
like,
so did
punching. Yeah, he looked in the gym. I'm like, hey, he looked, but I didn't know what weight class or not. I didn't do that. I didn't go into that part. That was last week when I did that. But I didn't know he's at light heavyweight.
Yes, sir. He's campaigning at 175. He's 12-0. They both basically have the same knockout percentage. You feel what I'm saying? So you see basically the video of, you know, little documentary style video of Eddie Hearn putting the bucks behind Ben Whitaker with the new commercial and stuff like that, the making of that boxing promo thing. Then you hear how he's, you know, maybe these were staged questions and stuff like that, but how somehow or another the one guy in the audience kept on asking questions about Ben Whitaker. You feel what I'm saying? And he also asked the question, would we possibly see down the road a super fight between Ben Whitaker and Jerron Boots Ennis? Jerron Boots Ennis should end up around 160, 168, moving up to challenge Ben Whitaker. Eddie Hearn was like, yeah. You feel what I'm saying? But then when I looked at Ezra Taylor's box rec, I was like, oh, he's in the same division. And they in the same sanctioning bodies. Let's see how they move Ben Whitaker from this point, because if Ezra is a dude you keep ducking, it is what it is. Because I immediately, once I saw his box rec, I went to, I looked at one of his highlight videos, and then I wanted to go back and see an actual fight of this dude. And I just got caught up with the rest of the day. But at the end of the day, I can say that highlight video do look impressive. He got power. If he clip you, bro, he knocking you stupid, or he knocking you like, hey, wait a minute, my equilibrium is kind of gone right here. I need to clinch. I need to hold on to something.
Yeah, he looked nice as hell in the gym. I just kind of looked him up. He's 31 years old, so he's a little, they got to get going with him.
And that's probably an unfortunate thing with Malik Scott, because he's not getting these guys when they're young. So he could really build them in his program, and we could see how the Malik Scott program really works. But we'll see what he do with Ezra, though.
Yeah, let's get into the meat and potatoes, man, real quick.
Yeah, for sure.
So on the 26th, I did this one. It was called The Help. And basically, that was September the 26th. So now here we are with part 2, The Help part 2, where Shakur Stevenson has recruited Raymond Savage Ford to exercise the Hippocratic oath in joining the novelty boxer Jake Paul in an effort to bring down Tank. And I said we was going to break this down because for me, man, I don't really get how you could be so against a fight or a concept like Tank basically getting this bag to fight Jake Paul, and you so much against the fight, but then somehow, some way, you find yourself part of the production. Like, you might not be okay with what's happening to these small children and how they ending up in these containers, and then they ending up on people's phones doing things that nobody should see. And somehow, some way, you think just because you was the driver of the van where you took those little ones from the port to the hotel, you was just the driver, or because you just was the cameraman, you wasn't involved, you just behind the camera. I'm like, how in the world, I was trying to think, AC, how in the world can somebody be so against something but then complicit in their involvement with the bag? Because you got to think, if it's a budget and everybody have a certain amount of budget for sparring partners, and they bring in you, Montana Love, Ray Ford, and y'all all helping him get ready to prepare him for Tank. I remember when they asked Shakur about Lamont Roach, and he was saying, man, Lamont Roach is a good fighter. You know what I'm saying? I know he decent. And he was saying, he's basically saying, but he didn't want Lamont Roach to actually beat Tank, because then he wouldn't get the luster when Tank fight him, as far as knocking the luster off of him. So now I fast forward to where it's like, by you helping Jake, do you really want Jake to beat Tank? So is that your way out of a fight? Because if Jake Paul go in there and make Tank look dumb or stupid or knock him out or do anything crazy, that's going to be Shakur like, see, you should have fought me. and blah 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 and ride off. I don't know what to make of this because nobody will keep it honest. And then I got something else after you respond to that. So go ahead.
Well, basically, that scenario kind of, to me, seems like the most likelihood. Or you were hired by Jake Paul to make this type of announcement because this is a spectacle. So maybe you did actually bring in hire Shakur to just for the optics, and then you said, you know what, I'm gonna bring Ray Ford in because he's a kind of like Tank's height and stuff like that, maybe same body type. So I'll have kind of like an image. I could run the race without being on the track, type thing.
Okay.
If that's your angle and that's your case, and you just want to make the spectacle and build up the hype and the promotion and the talking points and stuff like that, okay, I get it. But at the end of the day, let's go back to this one thing, because again, it's my same energy that's going to bring me to, okay, where are the people who were screaming traitors? Okay, at the end of the day, Bernie the boxer, does this fit in your traitor category? Because here's the thing. Here's another situation where you had two fighters. One fighter claims he's chasing the other tougher guy. And the other tougher guy is like, listen, you can't be chasing me because I don't run. How you chasing me and I'm doing an afternoon stroll? The fuck is that possible? So when you have that type of situation, right? And you make these claims that you're going out there to help whatever. Shakur will not face Tank, or has not shown any interest in facing Tank. So how do you help someone else beat Tank? Why weren't you there to help Lamont Roach beat Tank? If you're gonna take a stance at it, I mean, wouldn't Lamont Roach made more sense? Because at the end of the day, if he would have beat Tank, you and him are more stylistically matched. Then it just becomes a fight between two boxers. Now, who's the better boxer? You feel what I'm saying? He's got a belt, you got a belt. Y'all ain't gonna have no problems with a unification.
Yeah, but I think with L-Dub say it's no big deal. The fight is fake anyway, just promotion. So basically, Shakur is a clout baby. So he wants to attach and he wants the attention from the fight, even though this is like a cardinal sin in the sport of boxing, right? But this the other thing. Let me stop bullshitting you. Let me stop bullshitting you, AC. Let me show you this, because the math ain't mathing, man. Let me break this down, man. We keep hearing about this Jake Paul. We keep hearing about this Teofimo Lopez and Shakur fight, right?
Yes, sir.
But we know that for a period of time, it looked like this man had buyer's remorse because Shakur and some of the things he said. And so I think he was kind of skeptical. And then he said he was already part of that whole Tom and Jerry stuff. But this is what I mean as far as the math ain't mathing. Now, I look at it like tomorrow, the 25th of October, we got less than a week left. In October, it'll be done. We'll be in November. So we got it'll be, so we talking about what, 60, it's 31 days, we talking about 67 days left. We in October, it'll be 67 days left in the year, right? The Shakur versus Teofimo Lopez is supposed to be in January. We still haven't heard anything. Like, we haven't heard any solid announcement. This other funky ass channel tried to come on just now late this evening talking about Eddie said that it's on, and I listened back to what Eddie said. Eddie did not even say it's on. He said it's trending in that direction. Being a fucking salesman like he always is. Nothing concrete. Saying that, yeah, everybody that we look at, you could do the impression better. I mean, everybody that we look at are trending for it. They all want to see this fight, start going off all the accolades and doing all that. And Eddie did not say that it was on. So that was clickbaiting once again this evening. You know who I'm talking about. The Haney boys came on talking this bullshit like Eddie said that the fight was on. Now I'm not saying it's not on. I'm just saying I ain't no genius because there's 67 days left in this year, and I swear the math ain't mathing. Why? Because I swear that the only reason why, let me do something real quick. Because I swear, I got it right here. He fought Josh Pat when he fight Williams Zepeda. He fought Williams Zepeda in July. So the only reason why, because you would think if you got a fan base and you all hot and you got somebody coming after you, I mean, everybody want to, you're a commodity, you're a draw. Everybody, you are you one of the top, you one of them ones, you pound for pound. If you fought in July, why weren't we seeing you again this year? I swear that it came out that you had something going on with your hand. Don't we always talk about the bad phalanges?
Yep.
Okay, so you got bad phalanges. Why are you in training camp? Why would you even risk punching on somebody? Because the last time you hurt your hand, you was punching somebody in the abdomen at that. So why would you be in there punching this big dude or having to, fend him off by pushing or even put yourself in jeopardy, and you got a fight coming up in January and doing this with a guy the size of Jake Paul who fights nothing like Teofimo Lopez, does absolutely nothing for you. This the other thing. You said that the turkey bag was like you got paid all this bread and all that. Like, if you got paid a whole lot of bread, then you wouldn't be trying, especially as a champion. Because as far as I'm concerned, champion don't go in and be sparring partners, especially not pound for pound guys. Like, Lord forbid you would never hear Tank going in
be a sparring partner
to go be a sparring partner as a champion, right? And then the money, if you getting paid more money the way he tried to make it seem like Turkey broke me off, like I got that bag, which we don't know. But if you got that bag, the crumbs that Jake wouldn't give you wouldn't make sense. You would be enjoying your time and enjoying your family or getting something on the books for your next fight. Unless you really be in a hole and you're going to go do it for free, which makes it even worse.
Yep.
So I don't really think, I don't know what to make of it, but the math ain't mathing because you got bad hands, or at least when it come down to fighting Tank, you had bad hands. It came down to fight Tank, you had bad hand. When it came down to fighting Lamont Roach, you was all systems go. You didn't have a fight. You talking about going to go fight Conor Ben at one point in time. Then you talk about fighting Teofimo Lopez, and we still don't have word. And it's like, what, 67, 68 days left in the year. And you're supposed to be fighting Teofimo in January. I can't make sense of it, but it don't make sense to me. Why would you go fight him for free if you're doing it for free? Did you really get paid that money that you said you got paid from Turkey? Because if you really got paid all of that bag, then why would you be going to go take the peanuts that Jake Paul giving you to be as a champion, as a pound for pound guy, as being the next Andre Ward and Terrence Bud Crawford and Roy Jones all rolled up together, and Clarissa Shields is your big sister? Why are you going over there being a sparring partner for a novelty boxer with bad hands?
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to say it like this. I saw a title, and the title read, "It's on Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez, January." I don't even think it had a date. I think it just said January, MSG. at MSG. And then there was a whole bunch of question marks after that. So I was like, I'm not even going to go there, because with all those question marks, it it may be a clickbait type video, to whereas I click onto it and, you know, you're just going to be asking a bunch of questions about where the fight's going to be, when we're going to get an official announcement, and all of this other stuff. And I'm just like, I'm not going to do that until I see something definitive. So for me, it's one of these situations to where we're looking at a fight that's being promoted, and you know, you're telling me this fight is trending towards X, Y, and Z. I mean, I've never heard a promoter say some shit like that. Like, yeah, the fight is going, it's going fantastic, mate. It's going fantastic. Bah! It's right now, we've got it on social media. Yeah, right. And basically, we're trying to discover its temperature. Whether it's, you know, the human body temperature, or it's around 103, 105, to see if it's got a flu or cold or something like that. So it's like, bruh, come on, man. What are we doing here? It's fucking trending. You know what else is trending? A chick who drank a milkshake and farted in your car, and you got out to go to the bathroom or put gas in your car, and you sat back in it, and it's like, I told this chick not to get that milkshake. So at the end of the day, I'm just like, man, y'all crazy over there at the zone. But you're entertaining though. These out of the ring antics are comical.
But they give Eddie like all this. They give him so much promoter or promotion credit. It don't make no sense. Like, I'm like, man, Eddie is a wonderful promoter. I'm like, okay, he can talk of. I mean, I don't know, man. I guess if it was instigator, like, I mean, well, I can't even say instigator. That's what B-Hop used to say. I'm the biggest instigator. Like he said, I don't know what to call it, man. He does a lot of like, I would call it advertising. Like he advertises very well. Like I don't know, with promotion. When I think about promoters, it's like they get they build up all the interest, but then it culminates with the event. It's not all, you know what I'm saying? It's not like this big build up and then it's a letdown. A big build up and then it's a letdown, and then next thing you know, you got blue balls, man.
Yeah, definitely. So you want to definitely stay away from shit like that. But for me, at the end of the day, man, I just kind of like been in the space of saying to myself, trust very little of what Eddie says and just wait to see what Eddie do. That's the best way to deal with Eddie Hearn, unless he's trying to backtrack and put a spin on something. And then it's important to pay attention to what he's saying, because that's when you'll have the tools to get back at him and be like, okay, but I got this receipt of you saying X, Y, and Z. So what changed?
He also said, I mean, if you look at what he said, he also said that pretty much Boots and Virgil, like they pretty much gonna fight next. But then when you see that, you seen that piece with Boots on Ariel Helwani, he was just like, well, we signed ours, and then Virgil and them said they wasn't going to do theirs because they had this fight in front of us, and then Boots was like, and that's pretty understandable. You don't want to overlook what you got going on. I'm like, what? Do we got to morph back into the whole Brian Norman conversation? You seen that?
Yep. Yeah.
So that's Eddie behind that too. Like And he's so good at getting people to move on and not like really digest what's going on in front of them. Because everybody cooking, but nobody digesting the food. Like nobody's actually digesting and figuring out that damn, this shit is giving you heartburn because it don't make no sense. Like,
nah, it
it's
don't.
acidic.
Nah, it don't make no sense at all. And you know, I forgot who I was talking to. You know, and I was it was somebody who was a Boots fan, and I was saying, listen, the thing with Boots is, you know, you could say people are being unfair with Boots. You can say people are this and people are that if you're a Boots fan and all of that. But at the end of the day, people wouldn't be saying the things that they're saying if Eddie was not doing some of the things that Eddie is doing that makes Boots look bad. We just want to see Boots fight because we know he's a hell of a talent. But to get to those fights and to get the fights that, you know, we put out there, any one of those fights is a great fight, and it's a good fight to like start to put Boots on the path of us being like, yeah, he's really the goods. You know, he's collecting names, he's knocking people out, and you know, he's showing everybody that, yeah, I'm that guy, I'm special like that. But that's not what we're getting from him. We're getting a lot of weird stuff. We're getting a lot of weird movements. The promoter's announcing one thing, but he's saying something else, and his pops is saying something else that's a little bit different. And then when you correct the pops, oh, then if you know, if that's what the promoter say, then it is what it is. So you just wind up being like, man, this guy is just all over the place. You are just completely all over the place, and you got to tighten your shit up to the point where Boots even come out and say, you know, part of it is my fault. I need to be, you know, more involved, and I'm gonna make sure I'm more involved. And then even more weird shit happens. So now that you're involved, all of this weird shit that's happening, we have to say, okay, if you said you're the head of the spear, then you have to take responsibility. Because if I stab somebody with the spear and hold the spear upright vertically, blood drips from the top all the way to the bottom. So that's just the way I see it. So for me, I'm holding the dude accountable. This is your team. It's the Jerron, Boots, and his team. It's not the Eddie Hearn team. You know, you're allowing this man to do it, or you're unaware he's doing this, or you're completely aware and it's like, yeah, I'm on board with it, because at the end of the day, it keeps everybody talking about me, and when I figure it all out, then, you know, it is what it is.
I don't get it, because I remember I went over somewhere and I asked one question. I went over to L-Dub channel, I asked one question. This man spazzed out for like 10 minutes straight, going off on all this bullshit, right? And I was just like, what? I just asked the question. Because I noticed, man, when it come down to Tank, people be real aggressive. They be high strung, high energy. But when it come down to all the moves that their guys do, they be so passive. Like what he said, look, you see what he said? He said, nope, I was against. Nope, I was against. Tank wanna, let me see, because I'm reading what he wrote. Nope, I was against. Tank wanna get paid. Why would anyone go against that? And I'm like, it don't seem like that. Eddie is not even involved until Fimo and Shakur. Bam, like this is what I be saying. They passive. We did squash it. But what I'm saying is the passivity of Shakur, like it's just so passive. Why everybody be so high strung? Even with Boots, it just be so passive. Oh, let these young guys. I'm like, these guys are 2 years younger than Tank. And I be trying to figure out, why do the energy be so different?
Yeah. And that's also the other thing. It's
Because I
like,
want
hey,
to, L Dub. Because I want to. I'm bringing up a point. You don't even want to listen. You don't even. You're not listening right now because I want to. Because it be the energy be different, man. Like it be so all this passive stuff. Nobody ever have nothing. Y'all whatever, man. You don't gotta listen no more, L Dub. I mean, you can go somewhere else for the rest of the evening. I really don't care. For real, for real. It's always like that, man, with these, like, it's always like that with these people who be, like, they say they all, like, pure boxing and they want this and this and that, but it always be this different energy when it comes to people like Shakur and Boots. They don't ever come, they don't actually, they always be so passive, man, when it comes to this stuff. Don't ever have don't ever contribute. Don't want to answer nothing about the accountability of these guys. But there go the link, bro. Cookie Monster.
salute Cookie Monster. Salute to the chat anyway. So at that, for me, it's like, again, each fan base deserves the fans that they're most diehard fans, and that's what helps support them and keep them motivated and stuff like that. To whereas when the rest of the world is shitting on them, they could go to these one or two channels and hear a friendly voice and be like, no, it's and hear, people make excuses for them and stuff like that, even though they didn't. So it is what it is. But like I said, just know your fan base, and know when you pull up someplace, know who the fans are of this particular person. So salute, L Dub.
What's up, L Dub?
What's good? Salute, yo. What's my man's name on the panel with you?
AC.
AC, what's up, AC? Bodywork, what's good?
What's
Hey,
up?
I don't understand where you're coming from. I'm talking about me. About the other stuff, you're talking about the boxing boys or whatever. But you're talking about being passive, not giving these guys what you saying?
I said when it comes down to people like Shakur, Boots, the sentiments around it, everybody's so passive. They're 2 years younger than Tank, but the energy be different when it comes down to Tank doing something. I'm like, where's that same aggression or energy that everybody have for that guy that they don't have for these guys? Like everything is understandable when it come down to Boots and how he's being moved, when it come down to Shakur and the moves that he's making, but nobody ever have no real answers.
Oh, so you're talking in general, not to like one specific person.
That's what I was trying to tell you in the chat, bro. You brought like we that's what I was trying to tell you before you jumped up here.
I ain't saying nothing crazy in the chat. All I was saying that I won't say nothing crazy in the chat. I just said about Bam. He had a sparring partner. You asked me, was I for the fight with Jake? And I typed it wrong. But I said I was never against him. I was cool with him going to get his money. That's what he wanted to do. Nobody's thinking about that. I never said that, and my content reflects that. And I don't be speaking for and holding these guys' hand. I said, boo, he need to take control of his career, because him and Eddie are never on the same page. One person say one thing, one person say another thing, and then the fans are confused. I said that, so I understand. So you talking in general, you ain't talking to me per se.
Well, that's my first time I heard you ain't say nothing about that in the chat about Boots. So we actually eye to eye on that. Okay, so we agree on that. What about this Shakur stuff?
Oh shoot, I don't really take no thing to it, because the fight is not a real fight to me. Unless y'all saying it's a real fight, I haven't seen nothing different. these guys fighting at one guy fighting at 195. Tank probably come in around 250, 144, excuse me, 150, 145. It's not really a fight per se. It's just a exhibition. It's something for the fans to get, for the people to talk about. It's nothing like a serious competition. Those guys going down there, they doing the same thing that everybody else do. They allowed Jake Paul to take advantage of them in this sport of boxing. There ain't no.
So let me ask you this question, L Dub. Me and Body gave two different perspectives on where we may think Shakur, why Shakur is doing what he's doing. You feel what I'm saying? For me, I'm trying to give him a mulligan and say, okay, maybe Jake Paul hired you for the optics because there's this, everyone online and stuff like that knows the rivalry between you and Tank. So he brings you in for the optics, but really the guy that is helping him spar, so he has, like a good look of the body type and how that body type moves and shit like that in a Raymond Ford. So Raymond Ford to me makes more sense of being a sparring partner for Jake than Shakur would ever. That's like a step down and disrespectful to a certain degree, especially for an exhibition fight. So, for you, I get it where you're saying, you don't really care because it's an exhibition fight. But for the fans, it's like, does this really affect the Shakur Stevenson brand? And if it does, how would it affect his brand? So I'm asking you, what is your take on them and why Shakur's coming in to this into this sparring thing? Is it optics? Is it because he wants to be a little vindictive, help Jake get into his head? You feel what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I feel you. I think it's the optics, and I also think it's the vindictive part as well. Shakur,
Okay. It's a little bit of both.
Shakur contradicts himself. He said he didn't want to talk about Tank. He don't want to hear about this guy. But you can't go to Jake's training camp without getting questions about Tank.
Bingo, L.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
I don't understand how you jump to conclusion and you don't even know my thoughts on it. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the chat just saying little shit. Like, you can't always know what a person's saying until you get up here or until you hear them talk about it. That shit right there, it's going to be forever. Look, I feel the same way about Booth. He went to the Canelo training camp because that's his closest way to get to a fight with Bud. Same thing with Shakur. That's the closest he's going to get to Tank by sparring Jake Paul. That's how I feel about it. So what you gonna do? You go to the training camp to help the dude, whatever. Because Jake trying to troll and go crazy just so he can. This is what I did to your favorite boxer. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, those guys going up there to help do that, it's vindictive. They don't fuck with each other. I mean, I expect that to happen because those dudes don't rock with each other. But I mean, for me, I don't protect no fighters, bro. I say what I say. Some shit, if I don't agree with it, I don't agree with it. You know what I'm saying? I don't have my content ain't based on being a fanboy or protecting these fighters. It's based on putting the correct information out there for whoever spoke with me to understand it, and you can follow along boxing and because the way boxing set up, also gets so confused. You don't know who is fighting this one, whatever. So I'm just trying to bring a little clarity. So nah, bro, that's not my lane. And I thought we squashed that shit, bro. I thought we was good on that.
We did squash it.
Okay, bro. I mean, I don't know. I never had no issue with it. You know what I'm saying? So we good to go.
I don't think what he was saying was directly targeted at you. You feel what I'm saying? I do think I saw you in the chats over on VF a couple of times.
You never seen me over there because I ain't been over there in years because we don't really have no issue, but I ain't been over there.
No, I was just saying from a minute ago because I remember he used to shout you out. Yo, that's my brother L Dub in the building right now.
Listen, bro, I haven't been to his channel in years. Not today, years.
Oh, in a year or years?
Years. I haven't been to his chat. If he shout me out,
it must be somebody else who's got your jump off.
If he's shouting out L Dub's boxing, it's based on what he know as me as a guy in boxing, they keep that shit 100 as far as my knowledge and stuff like that. They can shout that out forever. But as far as me being there in the present, I don't go over there. I haven't been over there. I don't like the yelling and screaming. You know that. It's good.
Okay. But I'm just letting you know there's somebody over there that's rocking your name.
Oh, so they wilding there.
Yeah.
Me, bro. No,
I think it's like L Dub Boogie or something like that.
Oh no, that ain't me. Nah.
Okay.
Yeah, click on next time. Click on his page and go to his page. They ain't doing the content like I'm doing.
No, I don't be over there on his channel like that. Sometimes if I see a weird thumbnail and a title, it's just like I gotta tune in for this because
I got you, bro.
Yeah, this is crazy.
Now, I ain't gonna hold y'all up, man. I'm gonna go back and listen. Wish y'all got something for me, but I just want to look. My man, Body, I don't got no work for you, no smoke. I thought we were good.
That's what I say. We good. I think people again, like I explained when I was over there on your channel. We good, bro.
Okay, because you know what I'm saying. Because I don't want to. If it's not squash, I want to get it too. I want to squash it because I know I did go. I went on a tangent that time, and that was on me. I misread what was in the chat. That's my buzz. But I thought we made that stuff up. But if we haven't, we can fix it. Like man, like I'm saying, because it ain't that serious.
It's fixed, bro. It's fixed, man.
All right, dope shit. I'm gonna go back in the chat, yo. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all show. I'm out.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, man. Peace. Yeah, man. I guess we got. I mean, that's a confirmation that he's being vindictive. And that's what I thought. I was like, and part of me, most of me was saying that this guy wants to. He's trying to be a thorn in Tank's side to where he figures though if he keep doing shit like this, then he gotta fight me.
Yeah. But it's still just. But the effort is contradictory to the fact that, you know, you were mailed an invitation. You got a phone call. She told you, you know, here's the room, here's the floor. You know, don't worry about the doorman. They're expecting you. They're gonna send you right up, so you don't got a flash ID and a whole bunch of other stuff. And you know, I'm a be there. Let's get it going. And you started to ask questions like, how long you got the room? Don't worry about it. I got it till Tuesday. You sure you want me to come tonight? Why the fuck am I calling? You know what I'm saying? So when you have everything right there and then you abruptly, you know, turn left and go way over there to where everything you told us since you got there is now null and void because we don't know how you get from that point A over there to this point B over here when point A to point B and point C were right there. And then all you had to do was just hop across a puddle and you're at your destination. So to go this route and all of this other stuff, it goes back to the point of what we were saying before. Did you leave Top Rank way too early? Because right now, you looking to try to do business with Top Rank all over again.
Yes.
After you just broke out and you just shitted on the man and said, yo, they tried to sabotage me. So I'm like, bruh, what are you doing? Where's your bigger bros to tell you, Shakur, the smart thing to do right now, put your tail between the legs, sit your pride aside, and go talk to Bob. Bob is still willing to give you, you know, to open the door up for you and open the checkbook up for you.
But the gatekeepers, like that's like what I was saying about Ward and Bradley. Like, who's advising this dude? And the second part, this is the whole other thing. Like, it just seemed like to me, like you could be like, you don't like your fight ain't etched in stone unless you know something that we don't know. Your fight is not etched in stone. Why are you over here sparring this dude for a novelty boxing fight for some shit that hardcores don't want? Like, we don't give a fuck about. We don't really give a fuck about it. Some of us like, yeah, get your money, get your bread, but we don't give a fuck about that fight. Why is he over there imparting his skills and his time into some shit that, as a hardcore, we ain't supposed to give a fuck about? Like, I'm not promoting it over here. So why is he over there involved in that and you don't gotta fight? Or is your whole career based around Tank because you need to be going to go get busy? Like, this shit that's going on with Teofimo, that shit ain't etched in stone.
Bro,
why you don't go get busy?
Let me ask you this, Body. Let me ask you this. Now I'm just gonna play devil's advocate to the situation and the scenario for a second. Right? We know what's going on right now. Shakur is just injected into this thing. Remember, I was saying earlier, I'm thinking it is a brilliant move on behalf of Tank by saying, listen, just look at the numbers me and Jake Paul gonna do. By injecting Shakur Stevenson, you've now increased those numbers, right? And I said, I think this may be a way to build up the Tank versus Shakur thing by saying, look at the numbers I just did. When I bring this deal back to Amazon, you feel what I'm saying? They're gonna want to just, I'm gonna say, listen, this shit don't need to be pay-per-view. Just put it on Amazon. I can pretty much guarantee 10, maybe 15 million views, maybe a cool 20, and at least an additional 5 to 7 million new subscribers. You feel what I'm saying? For me and the Shakur Stevenson fight, and then me and Lamont Roach, we'll work out those numbers after that on a fight-by-fight basis. What if, this is where my brain is trying to put all of these moving pieces together, because you and I are both like a solution-oriented person.
Mm-hmm.
What if Shakur winds up in the ring at the end of the night, and they kind of announced that, yeah, we're gonna work through MVP for a Netflix show or whatever for me and Tank.
See that now that goes. See now I'll be happy, but then I'll be pissed because I said this a long time ago. Now look, I'll be happy because you know what I'm saying. It's always gonna be. I'm not until they say otherwise. Because this is like the last one that I think really can happen for sure. I'm always gonna be about this. This fight has to happen for me. Like I went through my whole. I wanted Tank to get Devin. I wanted Tank to get T.O. This is my last thing that I'm holding on to. So part of me is like, okay, I would be ecstatic, and that's me kind of looking at it like, man, this new age, they need a storyline. Everybody think there's got to be some storyline. Like, I mean, I'm starting to accept. Okay, cool, because they looking at it like wrestling now. Like you gotta have a story.
Yeah,
they got to be this building, old footage, and things that they can do. So okay, part of me is looking at it like that. The other part of me is saying that, listen, man, y'all kind of both probably planned this because I've been thought that they had an agreement, and for whatever reason the timing wasn't. But behind the scenes, they know when it's gonna go down and how it's gonna go down. They just trying to figure out how to get. It's one of them things to where later on they might sit down and be like, yeah, we knew, we just couldn't. We had to build it. And we had to do, and I'm like, man, that's why I don't like, I hate going online having to talk about this shit all the time, because I have a different way of thinking that it should happen. Like, I be thinking that Shakur should go put his talents in somewhere and target somebody and take them out and build it like that, the way it's like people say, damn, you see what I did to him, now you next. Like,
I think those days are over. I think once you get to the megastar level, and for many fans out there, we have to accept that you know, Shakur is at the precipice of mega stardom because, or I could say he's a junior megastar or megastar in training because look at the company that his name keeps. When you talk about Shakur Stevenson, you're only talking about the best guys in the division. You feel what I'm saying? Whether that's generated, manufactured, however the case may be, you feel what I'm saying? But to me, that's an accepted reality. You feel what I'm saying? And when it comes down to two guys like that, you know, what we saw with Canelo and Bud kind of set a standard. And we're not going to get that type of thing, I don't think, ever again in boxing, because moving forward, everything's going to be generated. I'm 1,000% with you, to whereas I think we're moving into the more entertaining era, the WWE era, you feel what I'm saying? To whereas, you know, you could drop crazy singles. You can be putting up crazy numbers, but if we ain't got no footage of you in a real battle rap, then how legitimate are you as claiming that you're one of the best rappers? Did you give us, you know, a quick acapella jump off with Murder Mook or somebody like that? You feel what I'm saying? So if you don't have certain tangibles with you, you know, then you got to go through the avenues of creating the grand spectacle, the grand perception. Oh, I'm tired of this. I ain't really dealing with that dude. But meanwhile, y'all looking for certain opportunities to come to actually promote this. So if I'm thinking and I'm gonna say, all right, looking at everything in hindsight right now, right? Or just trying to follow the tea leaves of what's going on right now. And asking myself, how did we get here? What could have caused Tank, besides the bag, to jeopardize his brand to fight a Jake Paul? It had to be something more than the money. Everybody can understand the money, but a lot of boxing purists can't understand why you're doing it for him. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. So for me, does it make sense that you do this because you're going to build these last two mega fights of yours? Or you're going to put them into the mega fight status, and then if you decide to retire, you've created, just you've created these last two black mega stars. Because you've done it with a couple of Latin fighters. You've done it with Pit Cruz and you've done it with Ryan Garcia. Yes, Ryan Garcia had a bigger following than you, but you made Ryan Garcia a superstar by beating him. You did the same thing with Pitbull Cruz just by beating him. You have the Floyd Mayweather effect. I fight you, I beat you, you become a superstar. So we were asking for that with a couple of black fighters. Frank Martin, you could fix the bill, but you're not young enough and kind of charismatic enough. You feel what I'm saying? You're already in your 30s. I got these two guys. Yeah, Lamont Roach is 30, but in boxing recognition, he may be kind of young. I may give you another 3 years and a couple of big fights after this. You won't be as big as Shakur, but you'll be the next one. You'll be, you know, the dwarf star to the big major one. You know, Sagittarius A, Sagittarius B type shit. So when it comes down to that, it's starting to make more and more sense to me. And this is the rabbit hole I'm going down. Many other people could be hearing what I'm saying on the playback and be like, the fuck is this dude talking about?
Nah, but that's the only thing that makes sense. It's just, you know, I stopped watching, but like once I figured out wrestling was fake, I stopped watching. I was like, man, this shit was fake. Like I was like, man, this shit fake, man. I don't want to see this shit no more. Like, so
yeah,
it's like
my heart to find out it's fake.
Yeah, for it to come in now where we need all these storylines and people know, because it's been a couple fights that behind the scenes people been knew was going to happen, and they didn't let the public know. Like it's been some major fights to where behind the scenes they knew, but they were playing everybody, and I'm like, why do we got to go through all that? Like, but that's just it's starting to be the way. So it kind of makes sense because now Shakur is in this storyline.
Yes.
But the thing about us is like, well, he's definitely playing his role because it's like you say you despise this, and I guess it's just the way to have people to keep talking about you. You know what I'm saying? Which I don't like that for. I like that. Any publicity is good publicity. I don't subscribe to that 48 laws of power. There's a couple 48 laws of power, like a lot of them that I don't subscribe to. There's a couple of them that I like, and I'm like, okay, cool. I don't subscribe to it. That Jerry Jones, what they're promoting, where if anything happened, it's for the brand. I don't subscribe to that. But I think that's where we're at in boxing, like where Shakur, and because I be thinking about Ray Savage, like like Savage talking smack. I'm like, man, Tank would knock your head off into the stands, bro.
Yeah,
it's like you can't even stop nobody now. You going a distance with everybody. You standing in front of people and saying you didn't want to make no mistakes and all that. That you don't want to be a star.
Yeah,
like, but
it's just all too convenient, bro. It's just all too convenient, and the storyline makes sense because now who is going to coming up to fight week, right? I mean, coming up to fight week, and if they start to give us another presser, you feel what I'm saying? And I'm thinking Jake Paul is listening to everything that's going on the internet, looking at different channels and shit like that, and he's probably thinking, let me get on the jack and see if Tank is free for a presser. Let's just do a presser right now, or we'll hold this stuff to fight week or whenever the next big presser is. I'm almost positive there's going to be at least 20 to 30% of the questions asked will be about what for Jake Paul. It's going to be, what was it like sparring Shakur, and do you think you working with Shakur is enough to have you win this fight or outbox Tank? On the Tank side, a lot of those questions are, Tank, what is your feelings knowing that you always wanted a Shakur fight? Some fans, or they may even try to shit on him and say many fans believe that that Shakur fight is a fight you're not gonna win, or blah blah blah, and just try to get some emotional response out of him. If not an emotional response, then a response to his feelings about Shakur coming in, and will we see a Shakur versus Tank fight? Is that still on the table? And blah 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 blah. That's what this does. It makes no sense that it wouldn't happen like that unless everyone walked into that final presser or the next presser, and they all signed an NDA that you cannot bring up Shakur Stevenson's name.
Yeah, I mean, this is how boxing is, man. I think it's something we just got to get accustomed to, man, because for real, the people that's cutting the checks, because they got to tell them people something, man. How we gonna sell this? How we gonna do this? How we gonna do that? And somebody got to come up with, oh, this is what we gonna do, and this is how we gonna do it. And the powers that be know, and it's just everybody got to play their part.
But this promotion was so brilliant. This aspect of promoting this fight is brilliant, bro. Like, Jake knows how to work this social media shit hard body.
It's true. I mean, that's why I say he a hell of a promoter. I don't support novelty boxing because it's gonna, I mean, it's here now. I mean, if you get the face of boxing to actually do this right now at this point in time, then it's actually here. Like, this is a big ass pivot in boxing, man.
Yeah, it's a new reality.
And
I'm saying it's definitely a new reality and a massive awakening because uh Jake Paul may start to steal a lot of fighters, and a lot of fighters will get on board with the novelty stuff. I'm bringing you in because we're going to start to build the next fight between you and this guy on the what's the name. And if we could build it right now, then I could sell the fight to blah, blah, blah. And we could double or triple the money that these guys was offering you. And neither one of you got to fuck with the Turk. You don't have to fuck with his standards to make this type of money. Fuck with me. Bob ain't going to get it for you. You know, what's going to happen for you? Fuck with me. My novelty boxing, yes, it's whatever. But every one of my big fights, we will promote the shit out of your up and coming fight to guarantee you're going to get millions of views, millions. Not this bullshit 300,000 or 500,000, 800,000, and you guys fought your fucking heart out. Millions of people need to see those fights. So I'm quite sure this is, if I'm thinking of it, knowing a master fucking social media dude, he's seen this shit long before all of us. Like, oh, these major jump offs is completely fucking this fight up. Let me get on the jack and call Tank. Say, Tank, you fight me, I can make sure you get the Shakur fight for the money both of you guys want.
You know what, AC? You know what? This is what happened. This is what happened. Cause I was saying this a long time ago. I said, man, I said it's on the line. I said, man, I think, man, these dudes, they already know that they're gonna fight. They know when they're gonna fight. They just can't tell us. Now, what happened was Shakur had a lackluster performance. And they're like, well, shit, Ixnay on the mix day because we can't do shit with that because with you coming off that, it's not sellable. Then what happened? He go make a move, and then Tank fight come up, and it's a fucking draw. But the Jake Paul shit was already on the table. Like it was already on the table because when the Canelo shit fell through, and that domino effect happened where Jake didn't have that Canelo fight. That kind of fucked him over. You gotta think Tank had to fight with Lamont, but it was a draw. It was mixed reviews, and so something that would have been one and done turned into, oh, y'all gotta run that back to get this right. In the interim, that shit fell through with Canelo, so Jake was like, fuck it. He was reaching for straws. That's why he kept being tied to AJ. He got tied to like maybe one other name, I think. I forgot who it was. So then the Tank shit come through. And so now it's like coming off that performance that like Shakur's performance was good enough to where it's like an interest now. And people are getting tired because they like, man, we just want to see this Tank shit. Like we want to see this Tank and Shakur shit. We don't want to go through this old Earl and Bud thing all over again. Yeah. And so I'm thinking they been had an agreement to do it. But because of both of their performances, it got pushed back. And this is the way to kind of bring it back around to where it's like, all right, now everybody, like now it's more of a storyline. And if they both do their part, it could possibly be next, depending on how they going to spin it or what's going to happen between now and when that fight go down in a couple weeks.
And here's the crazy thing. I think the whole Tio thing is a talking point. You feel what I'm saying? Maybe they meet at a catch weight of 140 something. Maybe they fight at 140, and Tio's after that for Shakur, and Tank does Lamont Roach. So, for me, I think it's right now it's something that's looking like they're setting up the fight with themselves and the fight after that. And all of those fights with themselves and the fights after that make sense more if now it's done through MVP. and not relying on the Turk and everything else that the Turk wants to try to do.
I wonder if Shakur is this thing up, or he's still with Eddie? He's
I
still with
think
Eddie, right?
but remember that caveat that Blue always brings up, to whereas if there is a tank fight being negotiated, Eddie can't have nothing to do with that.
And I thought that's the missing piece. That's the missing piece. That's what I was gonna say. That's what I was gonna say that made me think they already that's kind of like the thing that linchpin to say that they probably always had agreement because they know and Eddie wasn't gonna have nothing to do with that. That's why, because I was like, it don't make sense to leave and then be like, yeah, I'm going over here and I want that fight. He gonna fight me, but Eddie don't make that. It's like, well, why are you going over there? So like, unless y'all got an agreement and he ain't gonna have no parts of that because you ain't cutting him into none of that pie. He ain't getting the middle of it. We not using no matchroom shit, no DAZN or whatever. So don't even worry about that. That's another thing I meant to say in that whole ordeal. That makes sense.
Yeah. So all the little pieces of the puzzle, you feel what I'm saying? Are starting to match. You know, the little picture on the outside of the box, and it's like, oh, now I can see it. Now I can see this puzzle. Now all I got to do is put it together. You feel what I'm saying?
Because guess what? I seen something right before we went live saying that Teofimo reignites the verbal war between him and Richardson Hitchens.
Oh, there you go.
And other day he came out and said he fighting somebody black. I'm like, that don't tell us nothing. But
so Body, didn't you say earlier that Top Rank is shopping their fighters around?
Yep.
You feel what I'm saying? Okay, you want to make big money? I got a fight lined up for you. You know, yeah, we're gonna talk about this thing, but you know, you and Richardson Hitchens, if y'all really want the bag, you feel what I'm saying? I could do a joint promotion as your promoter. You know, even though both of them, Hitchens re-signed with Top Rank, didn't he?
I don't know. No, he was never with Top Rank. He was with Matchroom.
But yeah, he was with Matchroom.
But he completed his contract, so I think he a man without a land right now. I mean,
so now that makes even more sense, because if he's a man without a land, if nobody done called him by now, it would be smart that if Jake called him, you know what? Fuck with Jake. Fuck with MVP. Because you're going to be on cards that these Riyadh and all of this other stuff, they just not going to get those views. Turk can't put together another fight that's going to give him that Canelo versus Bud views. That's the best hit. That's his ceiling. He can't go higher than that. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I think these cats, they didn't realize, like, man, if they got to fight now. Like with how the Sheik came in, and he was effective in what he did because he disrupted the game and he threw the whole market off. Like, and so now they're realizing that they actually got to fight. Like, they got to fight. Like, it ain't gonna be but so much. It ain't, but like the shit that's happening with Bakram, that shit can't. With these fighters over here, that shit ain't gonna be happening. Cause they got the Zuffa shit going on, and then they got Pro Box doing their thing, and the major networks, like where all that cross the streets and side of the street, that shit is about to be null and void. It's like, oh, well, you either fighting and getting the bag, or you gonna be on the shelf not knowing when is what. Because, like, in order for you to really get to that bag, you're gonna have to be consistent now.
Yeah,
it ain't even going. You like, I don't even think you're gonna be able to fight and just like this shit that Jamel and them doing to Earl. I don't even think you're gonna be able to do that no more.
No, I don't think so either. All these guys that are, unless you are megastar, superstar, A-side, you do not have the luxury of fighting once a year anymore. That's done. That's done for everybody who's, you're a great fighter. You've done things from the mud. You built divisions. You conquered divisions. You're the reigning champion that division. But if the machine isn't behind you, that's the sad part. If you haven't put yourself in the path of the machine actually stopping in your town. You know, you bought your ticket. The conductor said, "All aboard! You got your ticket. Now it's punched, and you on the next thing that's happening with the machine." If that's not where you are, sadly, I think you might find yourself, you know, subject to whenever the main cards are looking at trying to host a big mega fight, that they're going to want to pay you what you're asking for or something close. If not, you're going to be looking at half your highest pay all over again. Despite the fact that you were lineal and undisputed champion and everything else. But it's like, you don't sell. There is nothing. The entertainment value is only there when you step in the ring. Like, you know what I'm saying? What are you bringing to the table as far as guaranteeing us this, and that? What is your name recognition?
Yep.
So, you know, boxing is about to get a lot harder for fighters, but it's also getting to the point where if you are about that smoke, if you're the person that's running around here saying, "I don't turn nobody down, anybody want to fight me, whatever, let's make the fight, even if I'm B-side to you or whatever, you know, I'll take what you want, you know, I'll take what you get because I'm gonna knock your ass out." Unless you're like one of those guys who are fighting, you know, 2 and 3 times a year, and that's gonna be the minimum. You know what I'm saying? If you're injury free, they're gonna expect, you know, at least 3 fights in that year. If you know what I'm saying, you had a couple of tough bouts and you're at that level, more than likely once a year if you're at the superstar level, twice a year if you're right up under that. And it's just going to be that tier system of how we're going to be watching fighters move. You know, how many stars do you have? Just like Pro Box has all the stars and shit like that, how you're rated. You're 2 stars, 3.5 stars, bruh. You better, your box rec better look like fucking 40 and 0 or 40 and 1 with one whatever, because it's gonna get crazy out here because it's just too much money involved.
Yeah. And I'm reading now that was Eddie and them won the purse bid for Morataya and Cruz. So Eddie won what did it say? Matchroom to promote Cruz Morataya. Eddie Hearn's Matchroom Boxing 888,888 is outbid Bob Arum's top ranked 550,000 to win the promotional rights to the IBF lightweight title fight between the defending champion Raymond Morataya and mandatory challenger Andy Cruz. So Andy Cruz and Morataya, that's a great fight.
Yes, sir. Good job, Eddie. Good.
About time, Eddie. God damn, we be wanting to try to give you some credit for something.
Yeah, bro, that's a hell of a move, Eddie. You got to get props on that one right there. You know, I guess you heard everybody shitting on you, and you was like, "The fucking Yanks across the fucking pond are over here saying, I'm not handling my business with Jerome Boots Ennis. I'll fucking show him right now." So he's like, "Yeah, Eddie, yo, congratulations, bro. I give you applaud. I give you a salute. Bro, you just did your thing. Feel me? I'm going to ease up on you for like 2 hours, but you feel me? But yeah, congratulations, Eddie Hearn. Congratulations to Andy Cruz. You know, Morataya. You feel what I'm saying? Andy, this is your shot, bro. Let's see if the Ennis camp can. I think this would be their first champion outside of Boots, right? If Andy should win.
No, I mean they had that. You know, remember Richardson was there,
Oh yeah.
and he still got Bam.
Oh, he's still Bam is old. I did not know Bam was in
Yeah, that's
at
Eddie
Boston.
guy. Bam. Yeah, he got. Yeah,
Oh,
that's why Bam can't. Like Bam is a one man band right now, man. Bam is
yeah,
going
that's why
ham.
Bam looking like, you know, I got the Mexican jump off, but I could get slick on the motherfucker. You feel what I'm saying? Like that last fight with Bam, that dude had me giggling to myself like this nigga is actually doing the shit that I seen him do to them old, you know, to them old men. So every bit of criticism I have for you, Bam, you read the dude, you was cautious, and then when you felt it was time to go in the second and third gear, you just popped that shit like you was on one of them, you know, old school, you know, mini bikes MVP joints, and you was just like one of them shits that got 3 gears and you out. You feel what I'm saying? You went from first to third in a minute. It was an impressive fight to me, though. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I did not know Bam was with Bozy.
No, not both with Eddie.
Oh, with Eddie. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Nah, Bozy, he got Jack Catterall. He just got Catterall into the picture. He got Cruz into the picture. Bam is under Robert Garcia, but that's still one of Eddie's champion.
Whoa, so wow.
But you saying, oh, okay, so you were saying champion as far as Bozy and them outside of Boots. Yeah. That would be Andy Cruz, yeah, with Bozy. Yeah, I thought you were talking about with Eddie, my bad.
Yeah. I
Okay.
You know,
yeah, that's where you was going. Okay.
So I'm like, okay, that's a good look for the gym. That's a real good look for the gym. If Cruz should win, and recency bias view of both those guys' last fight, I might be leaning towards, if it was a recency bias vote, and that was the only criteria, this was his last fight, that was his last fight, you have to judge right then and there who you think is the better fight, who you think wins this fight. I probably would be leaning more towards Cruz, and people would be like, but he's only got 5-6 fights, but he's got a hell of an Olympic pedigree. Loma did it in 3 fights, 2 or 3. So at the end of the day, Andy may be under the tutelage of Bozy to, you know, plug in some of the holes with an American black boxing style, especially a Philadelphia American black boxing style. Andy might be I think he's going to be a very, very dangerous dude.
Man, look, I like Andy, man. That's why I was putting so much pressure on Keyshawn, because I wanted to see that fight so that, let's just say one of them lost, they could have still doubled back after a couple fights and got that back. But I wanted that to happen like then. But I like Andy, man. This is my belief on Andy. I think that Andy is one of the best pure boxers out here. And if he don't fall in love with that shit that Boots be doing, where he gonna stand there and try to stand in there too long, I think that if he get a belt, I think if he had that thing where I'm gonna take my time, I'm gonna frustrate him, and then like in the later rounds, then I'm gonna start sitting down more and doing all that. Like as the fight go on, like pure box, and frustrate the shit out of him like for the first 6 or 7. And then once they start making more mistakes or they get fatigued or whatever around 8, 9, 10, then crank it up and stand there more. But as long as he don't try to like do that shit Boots be doing, I think he's a tough out for damn near anybody, man. Like if he stick to his pure boxing, because he got them feet, man. He got educated feet. I think that as far as power, he might be able to crack a little better, like with time, like an experience. But he's never gonna be like the biggest puncher. You know what I'm saying? He's never gonna be like that one hitter quitter. But he can probably get the the boxers knock out the TKOs. He'll get a bunch of TKOs.
Yeah, but isn't it genuinely Cuban fighters are somewhat heavy-handed? But one of the biggest things I've always heard was because they stay in the amateurs so long and things like that, they never really learn how to like properly sit on the punch or just set up that trap so you could sit on that punch and then throw it and possibly develop that one hitter quitter. You feel what I'm saying? But I've always heard that, you know, Cuban boxers are supposed to be heavy-handed, but they just that Cuban style of boxing, whether it's a real thing or not, doesn't lend to them actually being able to stay there long enough, sit on your punch long enough to where you can crack. And you've seen glimpses of that, you know, in a dude like Frank Sanchez. That when Frank sat there and he sat on his punches, he will plow, you know, he will plow somebody's face in. But he's always want to be moving and agile on the feet, in and out, agile on my feet. I'm moving, I'm circling, I'm yada yada yada. You feel what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's like, nah, sit down and know when to fight. You feel what I'm saying? Know when to trade with your opponent. And then you trade smartly, you use your angles, you use the smart feet, you use your boxing. Now, once you get those angles, because I'm going to say he's going to go in there with the better feet, he get that angle and catch that man off of turning him, where he's got to turn and then reset, boom! You just let that shit go. So I've seen glimpses of it, but let's just see how he's developing, you know? Let's just see how he's developing. So, yeah, I'm congratulations, Eddie. Again, that's a good move. Breaking news, everybody.
And it's gonna be right. I think, man, if Andy get that belt, it's gonna be the right belt for him because people are not gonna be able to weight bully him with that IBF. Like you're not gonna be able to put in that line and challenge him for that belt and try to weight bully him. So it's gonna be an honest assessment. That's what I like. So order will be restored. Now I'm not counting Muay Thai out. I just think that I think that when you look at some of the things that Tevin did, Tevin gave Muay Thai some problems. I think later on Muay Thai did show a little separation, and that's really what happened. Like in the last couple rounds of those fights, that fight, Muay Thai kind of did step up and do more, you know, and Tevin kind of fell back a little bit. You know, he was just coming off of that big break, but you know, that's a good fight, man, and this is the beginning of that new wave, like at 35, because right behind him on the Night of Champions, you got Abdullah Mason and Sam Noah. So we could be looking at Andy Cruz, like we could be looking at Abdullah. Let's just say he do what he's supposed to do on the 22nd of November, and then turn right around in January, I think that's what they were saying. I think January. I think that fight would be January with Cruz and Muay Thai. That'll be 2 of the belts. We don't know what's gonna happen with Tank and, you know, what the WBA gonna be doing, and then only one else is Shakur, whatever he gonna be. So we could be looking at Andy Cruz, Abdullah Mason, Tank, and Shakur as the new, you know what I'm saying, as the ones with the belts. Now if Tank and Shakur move up out of there,
I think it's gonna be maybe Floyd. Now that if Andy get that belt, it's probably gonna be Floyd versus Lucas Body. After Floyd, if he gets when he gets through, what's the name?
JoJo.
Yeah, JoJo. So, I don't know. I mean, if Lucas Body is ready, then it might be this dude Armando Rabi. You feel me? So I don't know, but I'm guessing whatever's going to happen, it's going to be Floyd Schofield fighting for a vacant title. And
JD, where is JD? Ain't JD Herrera? Ain't he in Shakur's line?
Yeah, he's number 4.
Who above him?
Zepeda, Ricardo Nunes, and Andy Cruz.
They still got Zepeda up. They still got Zepeda up there.
Yep. Zepeda is sitting at number 3 for the WBC and sitting at number 5 for the WBO.
Man, you had your shot, brother. Like, how the hell you gonna be up above people who ain't had their shot yet? Like, I mean, you got the experience, but what the hell, man? You had your shot.
So, but in that Shakur line, yeah, JD Herrera under him is Maxie Hughes. You know.
Yeah, you could let them box it out then, because Maxie Hughes will give a. Yeah, I like that. Maxie Hughes can box, man.
Yeah.
He beat up Cambosis when he got robbed.
Yeah. So I mean, any other notable names are not even not ranked in the top 10 because Albert Bell is sitting at 15 and Lucas Body is at 12. You know,
Lucas Body is close though. Lucas Body, I think they're gonna put him in there with Schofield, and if Schofield,
yeah. So we probably could cancel him out. So,
you got Schofield beating Body.
Do I have Schofield beating Lucas Body?
Lucas Body.
I could see Lucas Body out pointing Schofield, and that's pretty much the clearest way. I'm having a tough time seeing Floyd Schofield unless he makes some crazy turn. You feel what I'm saying? Being able to deal with Lucas Body's boxing skill. I think Body might win that fight on points. Let me make sure I know who I'm talking about here and I'm not getting the names mixed up.
Yeah, that's the dude that knocked out Ashton Silva. H2O.
Yeah. So yeah, he's pretty tough and durable. 75% knockout rate, 20-0, 15 knockouts, 5'9". Let's see how tall Floyd Schofield. He's 19-0, 13 knockouts. He has a 68% knockout rate, and he's 5'7". So he'll be in there with the taller Lucas Body. To be honest with you, it's a one fight difference. You know, Lucas Body's got in 92 rounds total. Schofield only has 78 rounds. So, that's interesting. I mean, the numbers are fucking, evenly matched to to a certain degree within the percentage, or with how they say within the margin of error.
Yeah.
You know, the biggest disparity is in height. One is 5'9", one is 5'7". You feel what I'm saying? But I'm gonna attribute the mere fact that Floyd Schofield having less rounds is because he put his level of competition to sleep a lot faster, than what's the name. So he's got a couple of 8 rounds. He tied on the stool, KO. His first 10 rounders was a unanimous decision, and his third 10 rounder was a unanimous decision. His second 10 rounder, he stopped the guy in the second round. His fourth 10 rounder, he knocked him out in the first round. The dude who fought him, that Esturio Shuro dude, that fight ended in a DQ in the 5th round. He's got his first 12 rounder. He got a unanimous decision. In his last 10 rounder for Tevin Farmer, he stopped him in the first round. So, yeah, this fight is pretty even. How you got it?
Oh my God. I kind of thought Schofield, I always kind of knew he was a little twitchy. I just thought that he wasn't the best boxer. I thought that if you were disciplined, you know what I'm saying, not reckless, and you know, if you were skilled, you can get past him. Now, Body can be outboxed, because H2O was outboxing him, but Schofield is not a pure boxer.
Yeah.
But I do say that he's one of them guys that for the first 2-3 rounds, he'd be looking crispy as hell, like powerful, fast. Like if you ain't straight, if you can get past like 3 rounds, kind of get, make him do the same thing, make him get frustrated, I mean, you got a shot. Like, I like to believe in Schofield. I just don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if he believe in himself, because I'm like, I know this era and where we at, but like, I don't know why he didn't take that Abdullah fight. I mean, just to get more money later and all of that. I mean, because if you believe it, you just step on Abdullah. Like, if you believe that, like, I don't know, man. So I'm on the fence about Schofield, man.
Yeah, same here. Now, here's some interesting. Schofield is ranked number 6. He's an American fighter. Body is Canadian fighter. He's ranked number 1 in this country. But it's only 13 guys that are in that category. He's ranked number 15 in the world, but Schofield is ranked number 8 in the world. Schofield's rating, Schofield's Pro Box rating is 5 stars. Lucas Body is 4.5 stars. Age difference. Lucas Body is 31. Schofield is 23. So
yeah, but yeah, Body a little long in the tooth. He a little older than what. He ain't no spring chicken.
He may see now. If I was gonna give Floyd Schofield a key to victory against Lucas Body, I believe Schofield might have the shorter reach. So get on the inside and beat that old man's body the fuck up. You make him feel like he's an old man by the end of the 3rd round. Don't go in there to try to stop him and do this crispy boxing shit. You feel what I'm saying? High guard the shit out of him. Go at him. When you get close enough, let that body work. You feel what I'm saying? Or use the active jab to get in on him, step in on him, and beat that dude's body the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? You could be 31 years old, but still a 23-year-old that's basically, showing signs that Yeah, I was born in New Jersey, but I'm Texas strong, bro. I think you gonna make a how they say a virile 31-year-old be like, bruh, I ain't trying to take no more of them shits. This little nigga, bruh, you know what I'm saying? So it's starting to, just looking at the numbers that fast, the fight might be a lot more closer than what people think, depending on, how Floyd Schofield comes in. We'll see how he looks against Jojo Diaz. If you look sketchy against Jojo Diaz and shit like that, I'm gonna be like, I don't know. I don't know. That's gonna be a weird one right there, because you're gonna get your opportunity for a belt, if you get it, and it may, they may, for you in that situation, they may go for the Armando Ribby or the Shu Utsuki. I have no idea who this guy is. Let me just click on his shit. What does your record look like? He's 16-1-0. Yeah, that'll, if he has a bad showing, yeah, that might be the guy that fits the bill perfectly. You know what I'm saying? It's not quite top 5. We're gonna make the excuse these other guys were busy. People weren't available, and yeah, you know what I'm saying? Lucas Body may have to wait. You feel me? Unless you could get some Turk card where they got a bunch of Canada dudes, or you try to find yourself on an undercard of a Billy fight where you just look spectacular. Yeah, it's right now. It's looking like at 35, Schofield might be. He's definitely looking like a front runner to fight for a vacant WBA title, depending on if Tank goes up and then he comes back down to 35. And Maxie Hughes, JD Herrera, and Zapata. These are probably the 3 front runners. 2 of the 3 of these guys will probably fight for a vacant Shakur belt, if depending on what Shakur does in the next 6 months, or has announced what he's doing in the next 6 months.
But cool, man. Yeah, Boston is changing, man. It's about to be a new landscape. It's just, I don't know. I'm kind of soaking this in, man. The reality of what's going on, more of it, and where we going with this Boston shit. But MVP might be taking over and shit.
Yeah, that's looking like a stark reality, bro. Because the way these other guys are moving, you just giving this man room. You're giving him room. And now everybody wants y'all to bend the knee for Turk. You feel what I'm saying? Kiss the Turk's ass when you're making a fight. Oh, none of this would be possible without His Excellency Turkey Al-Sheikh. I don't think some people want to do all of that. They're like, I don't give a fuck about all of that.
I'm like, dang, do I gotta go back to giving Shakur the benefit of the doubt again? That you just playing your part and you just being the villain, like you just playing your role and shit. Like, we'll see, man. We'll see.
Yeah, for sure, bro.
But appreciate you coming, man. I'm gonna wrap it up, man. Go lay up under some titties, man.
Yeah, I feel you, bro. Great conversation, man. Definitely great conversation. On to the next one.
All right, bro.
All right,
peace. Yeah, another stake in the ground conversation, man. Boxing is truly changing, man. Storylines and how to promote a fight and how to talk about it and how to play ping pong. I guess I'm not used to that. I know it need to be storylines, but to me, it's enough talent out there to where storylines can develop naturally, and between mandatories, you know, between the pot of money shrinking, you know, it's like the window's closing, man. And if I don't think we shouldn't have to do. I don't think we should have to do that, especially with everybody, the consumers' attention span is shrinking, and how social media is, and how these guys can promote themselves. It's like they should be fighting 3 times a year, and when you fighting top competition, like, you're gonna lose some. You're gonna lose some fights. It's not over. And as fans, we need to appreciate when people do put their O on the line and risk it, that we not just gonna act like they ain't never did shit like we do. Other fan bases, like all fan bases, don't do it. But I guess maybe Shakur might be being more than just help. He might be helping himself in a timeline or a storyline to actually get a tank fight. Who knows? Anyways, man, we put something on your mind to think about, man. This all is just something to think about, man. Anyways, thanks for choosing Bodywork Boxing. But we don't take things for face value. We do that body work.
He didn't want to box. He wanted to actually prove that he could punch with you. He was like, what the fuck is this nigga, right? Oh, okay, you want to go to sleep. You tired.
Welcome to Bodywork.